It's not like I'm saying I won't give it. But it's a year in arrears. It's been a long time coming. On account of. Because this is a program, they are inexperienced at first. It's just a do-it-yourself mess. And then at the end, we're firefighters. If we're firefighters, all the hard work, everything is going to be thrown to the model. So this aspect of things, full construction, it really is a more technical, also includes construction, including whatever you need to know. If you don't understand, the risk is still there. Everyone look, just watched a few do it. It's just one building at a time that's not doing so well. High risk, high reward, right? Did a lot of nothing, a lot of style. These are landed projects. Then Evergrande owes me money. I'm still promoting Everest. Let's hope we get it sooner rather than later. You worked extra hard on this model. It's guesswork. And that's it. Let's move on to differentiation. That is Cialis tube is the backup continent. Poor industrialization is a good hand. Why? For example, if you're evacuating art like these, then you definitely need a new one for that. If you do it by hand, I'm sure it won't work, will it? Including through. What a piece of work this MD is. Everyone is the one judging his success from a design perspective. He won too. This program is the winning bid is what? Add. He won Pritzker's 2 Masters of Chinese Design. If anything, from my perspective, he has. What did he win at? Winning at concepts. This design concept is definitely better. He knows more about Chinese culture. He actually won on the level of his understanding of surface aesthetics. What they did to the rhinoceros. Hey, guys. Everyone else's company does planes that are called renderings. The company uses 3MAS to do it all. Failure to grasp the point is the idea. The idea was misread. Speak honestly. But the rendering. It's definitely possible to end up not landing. You can show it to someone. This landing is definitely far from the rendering. You go straight to Rhino. Go straight to the rhinoceros to nudge. This one is clearly more in line with. What's more logical is sometimes going in the right direction, misdirected. It's fruitless. I thought. So this. Cognition. It's actually a gap in the market. Including those. Cialis in interior decorating cognizance, mostly empty markets. This is Zhang Han's Guangzhou Opera House. In fact, it's everyone's first time experimenting, as far as I'm concerned. Actually, a lot of things many places can be optimized. It can also be optimized. You can also go deeper into doing design. It's actually really the beginning of optimization. It's a limitless process. You find it every time. This place could be even more beautiful with a little more optimization. Or more cost-effective production. You can achieve and save production costs. Lovely. That's very, very impressive. That Rhino also has a plugin called SplayDisplay. I don't recommend it. No one has actually used Splay yet to do the zap done by A. No one's made a building out of mentions yet. It's just landed in production. But then, he'll give you a lot of ideas. That's if you want to differentiate yourself. Your tool differentiation. Your tools will give you a lot of differentiation of thought ideas. In fact, this one is a tall building and this one is this round look that I made. The landability of this one is actually okay. I think this tall building is still very nice. In terms of modeling styling. Then to address a spatial layout aspect of, there's still one more curtain wall deepening to be done. If you want me to do the styling, I'll do it. But what about other jobs? It's best to work with other people. That way you make something very professional. These curves are very graceful. In fact, these courses are market gaps. It's been 10 years. In 10, almost no one was talking about it. I'm basically the only person in the country who's talking about it. Tell me about it. More and more people are learning it. Including indoors now. And almost no one to teach it to. But there are very few people who learn it. If you're interested in learning, but I think it's also a differentiator. You're doing the interior with someone else. Can you make a fluid wall like that? Right. So this is parametric thinking. Make someone this interior wall. A restaurant. All aspects are not included in doing this. I think if anything, you're looking for it. You can take over the market. Anyway, on this side of the training, we're the ones who have the market. We have a large market share. Because we are the beneficiaries of differentiated competition. We're early in the game. And then, it's always on the line. I have several WeChat, and then there's the one my assistant uses. And a lot of them ask technical questions. Come and add me on WeChat. But really, these technical issues are what the marketplace is looking for, so we know the technical needs of the market. It is through some customers through WeChat or, it's okay if you come to us to solve the problem. Get first-hand market information. Including we will create some of our own ideas and some books I've written. Just give users a free share. There is a market for openness. And then I think the first thing depends on your interests. And the second? Do you want to, or do you want to set up a situation? Otherwise, if you have good skills, people don't know you. There's nothing you can do about it. So that's why I'm also giving a live feed. It's a lot of concepts. We've been working on this for over a decade. I've been studying rhinos for a long time. It's college time. I used Rhino in college. But I think what I've researched, there are some things that are very good, some things. But then, if anything, I'm not going to spread the word. I don't have a platform. There isn't a platform. No credibility. Architecture Online School is a platform that no one probably knows about me. And then I can't get my stuff out there. That's why it's important to focus on marketing as well. Marketing is actually a designer's least favorite thing to do. He thinks marketing is low. Feeling like recommending your own stuff can be low sometimes. So to speak. Recommend your own think unless you recommend your own design. You don't feel low. Recommend you anything else and you'll think it's lame. So that's what. So it may be necessary to cooperate with some platforms, amplify your goodies. Let's get more people out there. I think this is important. This is good for everyone. It's also good for the industry as a whole. Let's take a break. What about later? I can show you a couple of Rhino models. But let's take a look at the Rhino modeling process. Those who know rhinoceros can probably do without listening. But what about those who don't understand? You can. You can read it. Let me show you a simple bird's nest. Because this one is done in about 3 minutes. Swift. In fact, the Rhino key to learning. It's not about learning commands. He must be studying modeling. Actually, in terms of modeling ideas. If the whole network is about modeling ideas, I'm supposed to be the best speaker. I've actually seen my entire network of courses. I've heard it all before. In terms of modeling ideas, I'm pretty confident about that. It's easier to understand. What do you mean by modeling ideas? It's when you read any of these questions, you know how to do it all. How to think. This is especially important. It's because of the shaped building. You've got all kinds of weird looks. You need to be able to learn by example. This is especially important. This one's gonna be quick. Is there a shortcut to Rhino? Rhino has shortcuts. But in general, when I'm teaching, I always use icons. Rhinoceros shortcuts that can be generalized to CAD. You can also set your own shortcuts. It's faster that way. You'll find the projection goes on. That's it. And then cut out the unnecessary ones. We're not talking about interfaces at the beginning of the course. Let's talk about some small cases. Because a small case is done in a few steps, and then people will think. It would be fun to make some small cases. And then we'll get back to the principle of the command. In fact, our teaching it's also a differentiator. There's just no one in the country who teaches rhinoceros like I do. I don't think so. That's all I have. In fact, all the things I do, I basically use differentiation, and your differentiation must be effective. It's to give the user a more understandable understanding not differentiation for the sake of differentiation. Because I've taught myself Rhino before. This one's done. Add a thickness and you're done. So let's go through a little case study. What are some of the small cases that you'll be able to get started with? It means preparing the lesson in advance. Let me tell you how to learn Cialis off-style consequences. Actually, how to learn it. Let's get this straight. Definitely need a set of online schools. If there is no such thing as a good teacher, there is no such thing as a good online school. If you go to school, the cost of time is too high. And it will demotivate you to study. Because you're going to have a lot of problems. You can find. Let's take a look at what it means to be differentiated. Today's talk on differentiation. Even teaching can be differentiated. For example, we teach like this. First class. We're not talking about straight lines. Be limited to the principle. We're small cases. Familiarize yourself with the Rhino interface. So how can I teach little Anne to familiarize herself with the Rhino interface? Let's just take this model It's done for everyone. If you're ready for everyone. Hey. Let's just hand over an order. Open this one, everyone. For example, I can teach you now. What kind of methods do we use to teach you? We're not gonna say that when we come up, add these 4 view switches, and then? This is a straight line tool. What kind of tool is this? And then how does this command work? Actually, I've been talking about it for a long time. It's not fun for you to listen to. Listen to it alone for 3 minutes. I can't concentrate after 5 minutes of listening. Some people, especially after you graduate from college. The ability to learn things is even worse. And it doesn't fall into your favor. Especially since there are online schools. Some teachers teach courses. Tell me a case. Speak for an hour. Including today. Today is actually the first time I've done one of these. Speak honestly, not particularly experienced. So today's hour-long talk was pretty long. I don't know if you're tired of listening to me. But then? You won't get tired of my new paycheck class. Why? Because our teaching is really different and annoying. For example, in the first lesson I would have everyone install the software. And then I will too. And how does one achieve enlightenment? Even my software, I will do differentiation. Without doubt, our illustrations are meant to be more accessible. Everyone's better off learning. We're talking about product development today. For me, the training is also about one of my products. What differentiation? We will. You see, the original Rhino interface looks like this. It was originally displayed like this. What would we do with it? What about teaching? We'll get all the lessons done. Everyone, open up. What's more, we'll still have colors in our classroom, right? It's also a differentiator. And what about our teaching? It's all about differentiation. For example, teaching first, I'll open this command for you. I'll talk a little bit about it. The wheel is zoomed in and out. Right-click is rotate. Press Shift to move. And then, double-click on this to switch between the 4 views. Double-click to enlarge. And then, let's pull in a command like this from here. Then tap this round table curve to flow. And then, we've made it clearer for you to see. We'll do some more marking. Hey, I used this command. Next. Then read the cue. And then, where's the software? For example, this interface, we turned its text red. It's also bigger. It's also a differentiator. I see that few other teachers have the old. It's not that there are almost just teachers who don't do this work. I think his teaching, nothing about him is not competitive. That's why our Rhino building, Rhino curtain wall, can be the first in the country. To be able to do what so many people recognize. That is, because instruction is differentiated. And then it spreads faster. This circular curve flow selects the circular curve flow object to select it. It presses enter. Carriage return datum, computing, look at the baseline. I've drawn it for you. Where's the goal line? Extension is. I've drawn you a target line, too. You'll find you're done with this. You'll realize you made this Mobius ring on your first day. You'll have a great sense of accomplishment. It's easy for you to follow these steps. Right, the first to find this order to take it out, right? And then you'll see this point in my marker. It selects objects that flow on the principal curve. I've done it for you here. Press enter. The baseline is it. And then? The target line is him. Hey. You'll find you've built up your confidence all of a sudden, won't you? You're gonna have a lot of fun with this course. And then the second command you dragged in. You'll find a second command. It's a landscaped terrain. And you'll find that this way what kind of stuff can you make on your first day? You'll be able to make brushes that count. Styling of the Kazakh National Library, and Phoenix Media. And you can make it look good. And Man Galaxy Aftermarket. Wanjin Aftermarket. This landscape terrain, you'll find you can do it on your first day. You'll be more and more interested. Our program. Actually, it's a differentiation. You'll find my second case, I'm still using this command. For what reason? Because you just learned a command. You need more cases to learn. Right, for example, for the second one, I'll change the command. It'll be hard for you. I'll repeat the command. Selection of flowing objects, select it to see the return baseline, right? Directrix of a parabola, it's got all the cues for the target line points. Then I second right-click to repeat the command I used last time. You'll notice that I'm actually repeating myself with the second command. But then, I'm going to explain one other point. It's just right-clicking and repeating the previous command. In fact, although it is said to be a duplicate, but what about each case? It's all going to be slow and gradual. Add a knowledge point. As comfortable as you make yourself feel. Some people say they've never had a more comfortable course. Actually, things have to be differentiated. No one actually teaches that. That's the way we were taught at first. And this method certainly urges us to create our own teaching method. Third, but the second case is different. Are not the cases are some very classic cases you'd be interested in sticking around, too. Actually do anything, you've got to get the trainees to stick, you need to think. Right, you have to make a Let's look at this one again. It's the same command. Tap to select it. And this? I'll emphasize these orders. What is it like to be a opinion? For example, we just ordered the extension without levitation. You'll see,